All right, well, good evening, everyone. I'm Zach Davis, and I'm the construction manager for the Bend North Corridor project for ODOT. My objective in this meeting is to brief you all on some traffic control changes that are forthcoming in the project area, specifically on US 97, that is likely to be impactful to the BANA area. First, I want to remind you all of the project scope and schedule briefly. The Bend North Corridor project has essentially three legs. There's US 20 improvements where we have a new roundabout going in at Cooley and Robal that is complete. We finished that substantially in October of 2023 and it's functionally open. Only punch list works remain. And the only work really remaining on the US 20 area is we're going to do a structural overlay of this bridge right here. This is the 3rd Street overcrossing westbound US 20 flyover structure. We'll be doing a structural overlay on that sometime later this year, probably in August. The other two legs, one, we've got a new alignment of US 97 that's being installed, an access controlled alignment from Empire Avenue up to north of Cooley. There's two new interchanges going in there, and there's a grade separated crossing that's going to be installed at Cooley. And finally, the third leg is the existing US 97, where we're going to be doing some preservation work and curb ramp upgrades and some multimodal improvements, which translates me into my next slide here. Just a brief overview of the multimodal improvements that are on the project. For the US 20 corridor, we've installed some shared use paths along both sides. Well, one side and the other side is being installed by a developer with the project that's going on there now. And then along US 97, we have a new shared use path that's going to be installed along the new alignment, and then we'll transition over to the existing US 97 alignment. It will cross over at Robal and then come down the existing southbound US 97 alignment, the off-ramp cross, and then go along Jameson all the way down to Empire. That's just a brief overview of the scope of the project. So now north in this image is to the right of the screen, and I wanted to just orient you to some terminology that we use on the project. For the US 97 alignment, the project team uses the term US 97 north end, which generally encompasses the Cooley to northern tie-in area. We also say mid alignment, which is going to be from Cooley all the way down here to Brandis. And then we have US 97 south end, which is generally the Empire area, the new flyover structure. So I'm going to be using those terms. I just wanted to take a moment to orient you to those, what those terms are referring to. For the next few slides, I'll be specifically referring to the US 97 north end. So we are installing a grade separated structure over Cooley, and we are also rebuilding Cooley Road from US 97 to the railroad tracks, actually beyond the railroad tracks. And this next iteration of work on Cooley Road, we will only be going to the BNSF easement because we currently do not have an agreement in place with BNSF to access within the easement. Regardless, we need to rebuild Cooley Road for the next stage of our traffic control, which is going to be March 30th at stage 3. I'll cover that later in this presentation.
I think they're going to have this go under the highway, but not separate the railroad grade.
Kathy, you're unmuted.
Yeah, can you mute me? I can't.
Yep. Go ahead, Zach.
Was there a question in there that you'd like me to address right now or wait till the end?
I think she was talking to her husband, filling him in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to fire away any questions you have as I go through. So, anyway, getting to the point here, we need to close Cooley Road. The decision was made that it's least impactful to close the facility completely for a short period of time, as opposed to stringing along impacts, short-term closures for an extended period of time. We need to close the road to set girders for this new Cooley overcrossing structure and rebuild the pavement. We have to cut all the way down to subgrade, so existing earth, and then build back with rock and pavement. So this sheet is showing the full closure area footprint. And this sheet shows, although it's kind of hard to see because I've got too much on here, but the main reason why we need to close for setting Cooley girders is two reasons. One is safety, just hanging, large girders over a roadway. And two is because this whole area is so constrained, in order to actually swing these girders in, we have to park a very large crane in the middle of Cooley. And we're anticipating girder setting. We're going to do half the girders in one day, half the girders in the other day. So we're going to mob in a crane, set it up, bring in these large girders over the pass and set them. And the plan is to set them beginning on the 14th of March. And I should have said this in the beginning, my apologies. The Cooley Road closure duration is anticipated to be no more than 10 days. So right now we're scheduled to close Cooley both directions. There will be provisions for Code 3 westbound emergency traffic to access the site, but closed to all other public vehicles starting on March 14th and ending on March 24th. And that is to set these girders and to rebuild the Cooley travel lanes from US 97 to the west side of the BNSF railroad tracks. This slide shows the detour route for both directions. It's going down 18th and Empire. Recognize it's inconvenient, but we're going to get in and get this rebuilt as soon as possible. And this is our second, we received the permit from the city of Bend yesterday to move forward with this closure. So this is a first iteration of our public outreach outside of, we have been in contact with the school district and informed them that the plan is to close Cooley Road full closure starting March 14th. And I've also should have said this is weather pending. If it's too snowy and we can't get girders over the pass, we will have to reschedule this, but it's our target date for now. And we feel we're 90% sure we're going to get there. Again, it's just can't control Mother Nature. And that's it for the Cooley closure. Should I take questions now or wait till the end? I've got probably 20 more slides.
I mean, it's up to you. If anyone has a question right now, that's fine.
Does anyone have any questions? All right. Well, I will move on.
All right.
Okay, so next in my presentation here is the traffic switch in the Cooley area. And this is going to happen after the Cooley closure. And again, this is US 97. It's on the north end. So this is north of Cooley. And this is stage 3. Our target date, our planned date to switch traffic from the current configuration, and this is specific to the northbound travel lanes, from the current configuration to this new configuration on March 30th. And we anticipate traffic to be in this condition from March 30th to mid-June of 2024. And the primary aspect of this switch is what you see on this slide here. So this is the Cooley intersection. This is US 97. North is to the left of the screen. Apologies for changing orientation on you. This is Cooley. This is the Cooley Road overcrossing. And in the future, we have this northbound US 97 on-ramp. But in this next stage, this on-ramp is actually going to function as our US 97 travel lanes, our through travel lanes. So the new US 97 Parkway is not fully open at this point, but we will have this ramp open. We will have this bridge structure girder set, this bridge structure girder set, and work's going to be occurring in this hatched area. And with this traffic control change, we're going to reconfigure the temporary Cooley signal and transition the northbound travel lanes, which are currently traveling where my mouse is. We're going to switch them over onto this ramp, and work is going to occur in we'll call it the median, although it's not what it really is, but in between the two directions of travel. So southbound will remain in its current configuration. And this is just moving north along the north end to give you a sense for what the travel lanes are doing. That on-ramp is tying in here. The southbound travel lanes are in their current configuration, and Clawson remains a right in, right out only. And then on the very north tie-in, traffic, northbound traffic is tying into the existing travel lanes. And again, southbound travel lanes will remain in their current temporary configuration, and Grandview is a right in, right out only. And that's right now we've got surface mounted tubular markers out there to block that left-hand movement. In this next traffic control iteration, we will have a very wide separated area with likely construction equipment that will be blocking that left turning movement. All right, moving on to the south end. So this was the north end. And then the south end again is Empire. And generally the interchange area, we've got a flyover structure. I realize it's kind of hard to see here, but as you drive by the project where you see the big cranes and all the wood in the air, that's this little rectangle right here. So this is the south end of the project. So we have some rock blasting that we need to perform in the area of the Empire ramp because we have some very deep, very hard rock cuts. This graphic right here is a fairly crude graphic, but it's intended to just demonstrate where we're drilling and blasting. So this is US 97 north on this image is to the top of the screen. There are flaggers here at Empire Nells, and down here near Corporate Place. Of course, there will be much more traffic control than this before we go to blast. This image is just to show that we're blasting generally in the existing Empire on-ramp area. If you're familiar with the project you've seen, we've just built a wall right there, and then there's a very large mass of material just to the north of that wall. And in that mass of material is some very hard rock that it would be more efficient and higher quality to drill and shoot. However, we're drilling and shooting in an urban environment, so that comes with a lot of constraints and restrictions. One is the primary is traffic. Well, the primary is safety, of course. So we've got a lot of things that are going to be in flight for safety in terms of minimizing subsurface vibration and fly rock, things of that nature. But in addition to that, we've got traffic control. And to minimize traffic impact on the whole network, because something like this requires a full closure of US 97 for a short period of time. In this case, we're only allowing the contractor to close US 97 in both directions for periods not to exceed 15 minutes. As a team, we are planning for something more along the lines of 7 to 8 minutes. It's shut the lanes down, do a final check on the shot, do the shot, check the road to make sure it's clear, check the shot to make sure everything went off, open everything back up. That can all happen in a short period of time, but to allow for some contingency there, like some fly rock on the road, for example, we will allow all traffic lanes to be closed for a period not to exceed 15 minutes. And that's what we're planning for. The schedule for drilling and shooting, this is also very much weather dependent. But the schedule right now that we're targeting is shot one would be on March 24th. And then it would be, we would have shots every Sunday, and we're anticipating 5 shots. And I think I maybe skipped over this, but we're only, to minimize traffic impacts, we're only allowing the contractor to shoot between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. on Sundays. Can't shoot at night. That's a safety problem. So this was the period of time that was as minimally impactful as possible. That said, we're still expecting queuing to go as far north as Cooley and as far south as Revere on US 97.
So just to clarify really quick, so that will just happen that one time on each Sunday where it closes for up to 15 minutes.
Correct. So like
Okay.
on March 24th, we'll allow them to close. They'll probably close at like 7:05 a.m., drill and shoot, shoot and have it open by 7:15 a.m.
Okay.
And then no more closure until the next Sunday.
I had a quick question if you have a moment.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Zach. So
Mhm.
I might have missed something. I had a little bit of bad reception earlier, but the purpose of these blasts and this work in this area, is that to expand the lanes going on and off of 97, make them wider?
Yeah, this is to excavate for the new US 97 travel lanes, which are going to, right underneath the Empire Bridge, they take off to the northeast. And they cut basically right through the existing northbound Empire on-ramp. And that northbound Empire on-ramp underneath that is a very deep, hard rock cut. So the purpose of drilling and shooting in here is to actually excavate for the new US 97 travel lanes that are going to be taking off from Empire.
That's right. Thank you.
Other
Zach,
questions?
question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, March 24th is the last day of the closure for Cooley. So those could be happening at the same time? Or is it, yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. I just kind of thinking through that.
Yeah, that'll be an aspect that we'll need to coordinate. We're thinking we can finish the Cooley closure. So there's a day. I don't, I try not to try to set some expectations here, but we're thinking we're going to be able to finish a day or so early. But of course, there are risks that you don't know till you go out there and hit it with a shovel. But like wet subgrade, for example, or something that we have to rework, or if there's some sort of historic site that we happen to run into. Now, something like that is a very low probability risk. That said, you're correct, Eric. We will need to coordinate these two to make sure that we're not overlapping impacts.
Thanks.
And I can assure you we will. Okay. Hearing no other questions, I'll move on for now. These next couple of slides just kind of show you generally where we are going to be closing US 97 in either direction. For the southbound travel lanes, we are going to be closing them just, let's see here. Let me take a moment to orient the screen. So the north is to the left. This is the Sisters Loop ramp right here, and this actually ties into this, and so that you can see the Sisters Loop ramp is taken off. So for southbound traffic, they will be just to the south of the Sisters Loop ramp. There will be what's called an AFAD, an automatic flagger assistance device out there that's going to be stopping traffic, and traffic will be reduced down to one lane at that point. And this again is for the blasting operation. And then northbound, the Butler Market Road ramp, you can see here to orient you. The north is again to the left of the screen, and the AFAD is north of the Butler Market ramp, roughly 1,500 feet. And that's it for drilling and blasting. Next is stage 3A, which is somewhat related to blasting. It provides for more access to blasting, but it's not necessarily directly tied to it. This is really to provide the contractor access underneath Empire Avenue up to our new flyover structure, which again is the structure you see when you're driving north on 97 and you see all the cranes and everything. To allow access for us to build the new 3rd Street off ramp and the new US 97 travel lanes. And in this next stage, stage 3A, it's really focused on the Empire northbound on ramp. So you can see this is Empire Avenue. This is US 97. This is the existing configuration we have it in, where we have northbound traffic pushed to the west, and we are working underneath the Empire Avenue Bridge. In this next phase, we take Empire northbound, US 97 northbound on-ramp traffic, and instead of coming down directly to US 97, they are put on the new Empire alignment. But instead of getting onto new US 97, since new US 97 is not complete, really we're sending them down the new US 97 pavement, but it will send them down to Robal Road, and then they would access US 97 from Robal and Nels Anderson intersection.
I have a quick question, actually, going back to the blasting I just was thinking about.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's going to be pretty loud and disruptive, right? I guess my question is just, is there any other, I know that you guys are doing this, which is awesome, and I'm going to try to get the word out as much as I can. But is there any notifications that go out to any immediate neighbors for when that blasting's happening?
Absolutely. This is like step 0 of our
Okay.
blasting public outreach. So one, the contractor is required, there's a certain radius where they have to go out and they actually have to provide an opportunity to property owners like, hey, you know, would you like us to do a pre-blast survey of your foundation elements, things of that nature?
Okay.
That way they can mitigate the risk of any damage or at least document if damage does occur. In addition to that, we have a lot more coming out in terms of public outreach. We've got mailers that we're working on. We want to do some social media stuff. This is going to be super impactful, just not for the local area, but US 97 itself. And so we're going to do our best to get the word out so the whole region is aware, like, hey, this is going to be closed for a short period of time. And it's possible that it may take an extended period of time. While we may only be closing this facility for, let's say, 10 minutes, it could take an hour or two to clear the queue. So we have a lot more coming in terms of public outreach. This again is we're trying to balance, like, not putting too much information out there early because there are things that are still just in design. Like, for example, we're still working through what's called a blast plan, which is going to dictate things like how much powder they're putting in the holes. So they're going to have to load these light because we can't have high ground vibrations shooting across, you know, the Swally irrigation line or into any of the surrounding structures such as the Empire Bridge. So those are things that we're working through right now, but we want to get the word out because we're targeting late March for drilling and shooting.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Will we be able to access these slides? I'm happy to send these slides to someone to distribute them. Is there a contact that can be provided to me?
Yes, you can send them to our email, just boydacres@gmail.com. And I also am recording the meeting, and I will be posting that to our YouTube as well as our Facebook group for people to watch again, because I know that was a lot of information. And we're not done yet because we still are going to have a presentation from Costco and then a couple things to discuss between the board. So I hope you guys stick around. But if anybody has any other questions for Zach, you're welcome to unmute yourself.
I will also drop my cell phone in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to call or text at any time, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I'll stop sharing as soon as I can figure out how. I use Teams. I've never used Zoom. So.
Okay. It's always a work in progress, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Zach, for that.
You're welcome.
And then let me see here. I'm gonna allow John to share his screen since he was kind enough to, or I guess, John, do you want to hop on video? Do you want to share your screen? Or I wasn't sure exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent, good. No, there's nothing really, no presentation to share. I'm just going to go through a status update where we sit currently with our construction schedule and what we're working on, what we're going to be working on here in the next several months, and then when we're hoping to open up, and then obviously answer any questions that I may be able to this evening. If I can answer, I'll take those down and then send answers back to you, Ashley, if that works.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm sure as you all know, we're fully engaged on site, and we've got blasting and grading activities going on the property. We have Cooley Road currently closed where we're doing our work there. That includes some pretty heavy lifting with deep sanitary sewer and other utilities that are going in. So there's quite a duration of work that is necessary there. We've got timing constraints with that work associated with the Cooley, or excuse me, the Swally irrigation channel that we're putting into a culvert. All of that work needs to be done and the pipe laid by April. And then once that's in, no other blasting can occur on site. So we've got quite a few competing factors here that we're trying to juggle and make sure that we're doing those efficiently and as safely as possible. With the blasting that's going on, as Zach had mentioned with their program, we do have monitoring stations surrounding the site to ensure that we are staying within safety standards and not creating any issues for the surrounding neighborhood or causing any damage there. If there are any concerns, whether it's noise or thinking that there may be some issue from our activity, please reach out and we'd be happy to address that immediately. So as I say, we have Cooley Road closed. We're expecting that work to be wrapped up by the end of July, at which point the road would be fully open. Robal, we have a little bit of work there. That's not going to ever completely close. It'll be single lane closures at any given time. And then we do have a closure that's coming up on Highway 20. That's actually going to occur for a short duration next Thursday. We expect that to happen early afternoon prior to the peak commute time. I expect that shutdown would be for about 5 minutes, but as Zach had mentioned, even with a 10-minute closure, we could be clearing queues, taking up to an hour. So we'll monitor that, but that's the idea there is to get in, do our blasting quickly, and then get back out and start clearing those queues. We're currently working 6 days a week, no Sunday work, so it's Monday through Saturday. General work hours are 7 to 7, and blasting and crushing is occurring from 8 to 5. And then on Saturday when we're working, we do have reduced hours, but that's generally what our day looks like at this point. We do expect our building to start going vertical on May 4th. So you'll start to see those kind of improvements going in early May. And we're currently on schedule for an end of August opening this year. So we're excited about that. That's my update. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you so much, John. That's exciting. That is the August date was what I heard too. So I guess once you guys get all the blasting done, the building goes up pretty quick then.
It does. Yeah, we actually go up in about 110 days. And then we have about 20 days of moving inventory into the building and getting ready to open for our membership.
Wow, awesome. So I know a common question has been, is there a plan for the old Costco currently?
No plans as of yet, but I would expect that once that is vacant, that we will likely be selling that building.
Okay. And then like there, if anyone else has questions, go ahead. And then I thought I had another one, but I'll think about it for a second. Oh, that was it. For the multifamily part, I don't know if you know, I know it's kind of on hold right now because the developer had kind of pulled out and you guys are still trying to find someone. Is that still where we're at with that right now?
That's correct. We're getting close there, so I'm hopeful that we'll have a solution. But currently we don't have anything moving forward.
Okay. Okay. If anyone else has questions, feel free to unmute yourself. Cindy, go ahead. Hi.
I was wondering, are you going to be leasing spaces for other little stores, shops, anything like that in the project?
Yeah, so the developer that we're working with, Powell Development, they're retaining 3 out parcels adjacent to Highway 20, and they have tenants that they're working with for that part of the development. And I think that it's a a drive-through. I think there's a medical building, and perhaps a bank, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure who exactly their tenants are. I saw a question pop up a moment ago about employment. And yes, all of our employees will be transferring to the new building, and then we'll be adding positions to the new store as well.
The other question, it looks like too, and I was going to ask this, is there any kind of overlap? Are you moving the inventory from the old store to the new store, or will it be like, you know, one day this one's open, the next day you move over to the next one, or how will that work?
Yeah, so there'll be no gap. So as soon as we open, the old will close.
Okay, so pretty much same day.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the idea.
All right. Anybody else have questions about that?
I have a question if you can hear me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually am a former Costco employee. I worked there for 17 years. But I was curious. I know when I was still there, they were talking about getting a car wash and a gas station. Are those still in the plans for this new building?
Yes, we have a gas station, car wash permitted in the northeast corner of the property, up adjacent to Cooley Road. And so there's a new road that we're punching through, which will actually be called Costco Drive. And that's how you'll access those facilities.
Thank you.
You bet.
Will there be any kind of a closing sale at the old store?
No closing sale, no.
Will the new road, Costco Drive, will it be, how would you access that, off of Cooley or off of the inside?
So Costco Drive will extend from the north to Cooley, to the south to Robal.
Oh, okay.
And then there'll be a connection to our collector road that bisects our property, and then that continues up to Hunnell.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't see any other questions right now.
All
So
right.
thank you so much for joining us, John. And if anybody emails me any questions, I'll forward them to you and see if we can get those answered. But thank you so much for attending.
You're very welcome. And yes, please feel free to reach out with any questions. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
For everyone else, we have just a couple quick board discussions to have. If anyone wants to stick around and listen, you're welcome to. I just wanted to bring up two things. So the name change, the city is changing the label from association to districts. And so we have the opportunity to change our name if we want to change it to district, if we want to change it to basically anything else. We have that opportunity right now. So I just kind of want to see if you guys had any input on that.
I have some input. That would mean we'd have to change all of our little signage, your cards, everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. And so they want us totally to just drop the association, or can we keep that?
No, we can. Yeah, they're not telling us that we have to do that. They're just giving us the choice, basically. I met with some people in NART yesterday, and it sounds like it's kind of a mixed bag, whether people are changing it all together, not changing anything, keeping association. So yeah, it's kind of up to us what we want to do, if we think it's worth the hassle.
You know, I mean, it's not like we have to pay for it. They give us enough money, right, to do these little things.
To change it all.
Seems kind of silly to me, but
yeah. The only thing is, I mean, I just don't know if it might get more confusing or less confusing. I mean, right now we get confused with homeowners associations, so that's a confusion.
oh, that's true.
But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know if anyone else has any input. We're open to it. Maybe we'll send out a survey actually for that and see what all of our members think, if they want to update our name or not.
Well, it's
So
unfortunate it's not across all the associations or districts. That's the one thing that's going to be extremely confusing.
Mhm.
I mean, if it was me, I would leave it the same. But again, I think that having different names is just gonna be silly.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd
Yeah,
be going from BANA to band. Would that be the?
I don't love that acronym personally, but yeah, kind of. Or we could just, I guess, drop it and just be ban. But I don't know if that's better either. So
that sounds kind of negative.
yeah, I know it does sound
Yeah.
negative. Like, what are you banning?
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. So if you guys want to think about that, and if anyone wants to email me, and maybe we'll try to get a survey together to send out to people. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the website. We had gotten a bid from James to make us a new website, and the bid was for $3,000. And from what I've seen and heard, that's not unreasonable for building a website. My question really is just, do we feel like we need a new website? Or is that money spent maybe in a different spot, but where, I guess. I guess my thoughts are maybe we should try to find out how much traffic our website actually gets and how much people are really using that as a resource, or if they're getting it more from the newsletter, or if we just keep the website the way it is, or if we think that it needs to be updated and changed, and what you guys think about that.
I think tracking traffic is a good idea, right? And you think about like, is it a product people are using? Is it worth continuing to update versus is there some other way people are accessing the information? I think that's a good plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the other thing I should mention for that too, Joette had helped us for so long with all of our newsletter and everything. We're so appreciative of that, but she's busy now. And we had someone step up to offer to help with the website and newsletter, and then they very quickly stepped down. So we are still looking for someone to help with that. So I guess all of our communication is a little bit up in there right now. I did do the newsletter myself this month, but I'm not sure I'll be able to consistently do it. So if anybody knows of anybody that might be willing to help us out with that, that would be great. And but yeah, I mean, I agree. I guess it just depends on where people are finding the information that can be most useful.
How about the other districts? What are they using? Are they using do they all have websites? I mean, it's amazing how many restaurants in town have actually even steered away from websites and gone strictly to social media like Facebook and Instagram. So maybe saving that money and just going that route altogether might be a possibility. I mean, you can store all the content on mediums like Facebook and Instagram, and you don't have that same costs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard because I know there's some people that aren't on social media. They would still get the newsletter though, so we would still be able to email them that. I personally am more comfortable with social media. I just know it's easier for me to post there than to deal with a website. I don't really know how to do that, honestly. And it is an ongoing cost. So it would really, I think, need to be worth it. Otherwise, we could maybe try to spend that money on more events and community building and other kinds of ways of connecting with people.
I think what did Joette say? She said something
Yeah, we
about
do have a Facebook site that I monitor and post stuff on. And she said also every NA has a website. Oh, that was another thing. I unfortunately had to leave our NERT meeting last night early, but I was going to bring up if the idea of kind of combining resources for a website, or if we all really need to have our own, or if it would make sense to have one developer and each of us have a page, but maybe that would be a lot, I guess, to have everyone combine all their stuff.
Yeah,
It
well,
would also kind of be cool. All right, go ahead, Cindy.
oh, thank you. Joette was asking in the chat if we still have a Facebook page, and we actually have two. We have a group, and it always kind of confused me, and a page. So we have a group and a page.
I don't think I even knew that. I haven't been updating the page then, just the group.
Yeah, right. And so I don't know, maybe we
Okay.
can get rid of one of those because I was always confused. And by the way, I'm still on there as an administrator, so maybe you and I can get together and we can update that.
Yeah.
Unless you don't mind. I mean, it's just kind of funny.
I don't mind. I trust you.
But I really like our website. I like it because it's it's just a great place to go. Like, for instance, if somebody wants to move into the neighborhood, it's got a lot of really neat information. Or, why would you want to live in BANA, or, in our neighborhood? And it's just, if you're thinking of baby boomers who may not be on social media as much, I think it's a good solid place for people to look. And perhaps we can just advertise it more on the Facebook page, but if somebody's looking and wants to find it, it's not hard to find.
Right.
But it's kind of nice just to have it there. It's already built, and then to rebuild it, that's just a matter of taste. I like the old one, but the $3,000, some fun summer parties and events and stuff sounds.
That was my thinking as well. I was like, I mean, yeah, do we have the funds? Yes, but that doesn't seem like the funnest way to spend them. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I think our website serves its purpose. I know that he was going to update the server that it's on for some techie reason that I don't understand.
Yeah, maybe things are outdated or something.
Yeah, I think the GoDaddy server, he's going to update it to WordPress, but I don't think he has to build a whole new website for that. I think that was just like an offer that he could give us more options, make it a little more high tech. Brittany says, I love the idea of one website that all the districts have a page on, and then we could just manage our own page, but then maybe the city would pay for the website. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'd all have to talk and agree to that. I mean, they kind of already do, since they're the one giving us money. They already really are paying for all of our websites, but yeah, maybe something to share with the other neighborhoods and see if there's an easier route we could go.
There is on the city's website, if you go into the city of Bend, and then they have neighborhoods and neighborhood associations, they have a whole list of everybody's websites. They're all different because everyone is so individual. It would be hard for everyone to agree, what it would look like.
Right. Yeah.
But that is a kind of a clearinghouse. The city of Bend does have kind of a clearinghouse list where you can click on each of those
Each one.
Yeah.
Right. So those are really the biggest things I wanted to bring up. The only other thing is that we're going to start planning our annual meeting soon. So if anybody has ideas for that, I know Brittany said she was going to start working on some planning for that. She wanted to do some fun things, like maybe have a bounce house or something a little more kid friendly, which I think is a great idea. So watch out for that. And if you guys have ideas, we are open to them. We would love it to be big and fun. And I think last year's was pretty successful. So we'll probably have it be similar to that, and hopefully just add some more stuff. Probably we haven't figured out a date. Probably mid to late June, I'm thinking. But we will send that out in the newsletter and post that everywhere. All right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming. And yeah, this is being recorded, so I am going to post it on our Facebook page, and then I will try to post on our website. I don't know how, but I will ask for some help. And then also our YouTube page does have our videos there too. So I know that was a lot of information from ODOT and a lot of closures, and maybe I might go through and write down dates and break that stuff down to send to you guys, because it was a lot, but exciting stuff.
Oh, look good. Thanks for getting us together.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Good to see you guys.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
everyone.
much.